This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers a list of dates annually indicating that this work session, regular meeting, would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 26, 2017. In addition, a copy of this notice has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
Public for which
O God, the Creator and Redeemer of our supplications, and through thy infinite love and mercy, power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people. Take a few minutes of silence to each seek our own way, whatever sources of inspiration, power in our thoughts and decisions and benefit of all people at all.
Councilman Chase,
Here.
Councilwoman Francois,
Here.
Mayor Kramer,
Here.
Councilman Onijaka, Councilman Prasad,
Here.
Councilwoman Robinson,
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Here.
Councilman Vasanella,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wright.
Thank you. Next item is item 5, commendations and proclamations. There are 2 tonight. The first is for Eagle Scout Joseph Repshire, and Councilman Vasanella, please accompany me as our Scout representative.
Thank you, Mayor.
Are you related to? And the mom comes up. The mom. Hello. The mom deserves the award as much as the scout. Okay. Well, congratulations. I was asked to read this, but, you know, I feel a little guilty doing that. Councilman Vasanella, having been a Boy Scout in town, really is kind of our scout representative. So please take my sincere gratitude of presenting this, but I want the councilman to come in. Okay, I'll be standing right here.
I know the mayor also is, especially in recent years, have been there acknowledging at these very important, distinguished acknowledgement of the highest rank a scout can earn. So anyway, commendation. Whereas the Eagle Scout Award is the highest honor which can be attained within the ranks of the Boy Scouts, and whereas Joseph Rapser is a member of the Boy Scout Troop 113 in Franklin Township and has attained such award, and whereas Albert's project consisted of building benches along scenic trails around the perimeter of Middlebush Park, benefiting people who use the trails by providing resting places along the path. Now, therefore, I, James Vasanella, on behalf of Philip Kramer, Mayor of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, and on behalf of the Township Council and the citizens of the Township of Franklin, do hereby commend Joseph Rapsfer for the honor he has bestowed upon his community, Boy Scout Troop 113, family and friends, as a recipient of the Eagle Scout Award. Congratulations. Please.
I just wanted to say it was my honor to do this for the township to help the people like on the path rest. That's a great thing that I had a pleasure to do for the township. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to honor Joseph and his project.
And before the mayor says something, I just wanted to say, often when I see Eagle Scouts come up, whether they're here or at Court of Honors that I know the mayor's attended and I have in the past, there's always a sense of humbleness and modesty, not only on the part of the parents, but and also the Scouts. And it's kind of representative of the personalities and the mindset that this is never about oneself and never about looking for credit or acknowledgement, but about helping people. And my son's at a Boy Scout meeting tonight at another troop. We have about a half a dozen great troops in this town. 113 is, I believe, the oldest, longest running troop that's been in existence since I was a little kid. And although all these troops are rivals out in the competitions and Klondike Derbies and whatnot, your mission, your goal, and the personalities you represent are all have common ground. And I'm thankful, I know the mayor is, for everything you guys do for this town. Thank you.
So for those who don't know, obtaining Eagle Scout takes an amazing amount of organization. And for someone at this age to do that, it really is a credit to himself. But it's also a credit to his community. And people who are Eagle Scouts give back to the community throughout their life. This is a training that he's gone to. But I want you to remember your parents, because you didn't get here without them. And this award is for them as well. Thank you. So, Councilwoman Kimberly Francois, the next item is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we have a representative here for that. I'm guessing by the pink shirt that perhaps we do. If you could come up.
Good evening, everybody. We wanted to have this proclamation today to let everyone know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're doing it a little early, but we also want to advertise some of the opportunities that the Sisters Network of New Jersey are having here in Franklin Township to get the word out, to let people know that they should participate as well. So we have our co-founder and leader of the Sisters Network of Central New Jersey here. Her name is Dorothy Reed. She'll say a few words after I read the proclamation. Breast Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is an annual campaign to increase awareness of this disease. And while we have seen an increase in mammography rates and decline in deaths, there is still more we can do. Whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month remains dedicated to increasing public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer, diagnosis, and treatment. And whereas too many women do not utilize mammographies at regular intervals, even though research indicates it is the best available method of detection to decrease death rates. And whereas the awareness campaign is sending out several key messages, most notably the American Cancer Society continues to advise women to get an annual mammogram screening once they reach the age of 40. Whereas the National Cancer Institute estimates in the United States more than 231,000 female and 2,000 male new cases of breast cancer will be diagnosed this year, and over 40,000 people will die this year. Whereas in Somerset County, female breast cancer increased slightly and accounts for 16.3% of all cancer cases and 8.7% of all cancer deaths, and are slightly higher than the average in all of New Jersey. For instance, in Morris County, female breast cancer accounts for 15.8% and all cancers, 9% of all cancer deaths. So now therefore be it proclaimed that our mayor, Phil Kramer, and the council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, do hereby recognize all of the above and declare October 2017 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and urge all women and their families to increase their knowledge about breast cancer and to join us to celebrate successes and memorialize lost battles. I have to say that awareness is the best form of prevention. And our Sisters Network here in Central Jersey, they do a lot of that in this area. And we do have a high rate of breast cancer. And the work that they do is very, very important to our community, to the families that they support and the families that they serve. They do so many different things in terms of providing services. They give out wigs to the ladies. They have a nice place to go to rest. There's a lot of support for the husbands, for the children, for support for families, providing food and different things that when you're facing that kind of a situation, a devastation that affects the entire family, to have a support network like that is paramount and is so important. And we do appreciate all the work that your organization is doing, Dorothy. Thank you. And she went to the White House and was recognized, got an award by the president. So you might want to speak about that too.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Kimberly. Thank you, Mayor Cramen. Thank you, the whole council committee here on the DS. I gave out little pink Tic Tacs because in another week or so, it's going to be all about the pink. You're going to see it all over Franklin, the pink bows and people wearing pink. And that's a good thing. Breast cancer is still alive and well. Women still die every year from breast cancer. But we're here to help the women in this community. When someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, we help them as they travel. We support them financially if they need help. We also bring awareness to them. I know October 7th, we're giving a 5K walk, so everybody come out to that. And then October the 9th, we give a golf outing in Hillsborough. So please take part in our activities that we provide to the community, because with the funds that we raise, we give back to the women in the community if they contact us. Our website is out there. I'll have some literature in the back. But please, if you know anyone going through breast cancer, they should not go through it alone. There's help out there, and we're here to help them if they need the help. And again, I thank this great council, Franklin Township. You're always there for Sisters Network. We appreciate you and all the support and help we've gotten from you over the years, and we thank you for this proclamation.
We are now on to item number 6, public discussion. Do I have a motion to open for public discussion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, seeing no discussion on the motion. All in favor of opening to public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are now open for public discussion. Anyone wishing to speak, please come up, state their name and address, 5-minute limit, no yielding of time, and you may only come up once.
Good evening, Alex Karazi, 14 Market Drive, Somerset, New Jersey. Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot about a great event that took place this past weekend, and the Franklin Day Festival indeed was, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, was 11 this year. And the number of people and the volunteers are departments, different departments that they came together. It was just amazing. And I had the honor to be one of the volunteers.
Mr. Karazi, you're directing your comments to me, but I think you should.
I know, I am coming to that. I am coming to that, yes. I know Ross, Councilwoman Sherman, she really did a wonderful job for the past 4 years, and hopefully many, many years to come, she will continue to do that. And the volunteers and everybody else that just came together. It was just so touching to walk in that park and feel proud to be a member of this community. So thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you all the other members of the council that they were there, and thank you for volunteers and of course our township manager. Thank you for providing all the support and different departments that they came together to make all of us to be proud. And the good thing was that we had so many kids there, and they all felt that they belong to this community, and indeed they do. Thank you again, and God bless you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm Ann Smith, 214 Burger Street, and I'm also head of adult services at the Franklin Township Public Library. And I came tonight to share some information with everybody in the community about that the Franklin Township Public Library has been selected by the American Library Association and WETA in Washington, D.C. to receive a programming kit for the film by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick, The Vietnam War. We're one of 50 public libraries selected out of 350 applicants, so we're delighted to receive this kit. And we're going to be, as part of the award, showing screenings of all 10 episodes of the Vietnam War on consecutive Monday nights from October 16th until December 18th. We'll start at 6:45 every Monday night for those weeks and show one episode per night. As you all probably know by now, the film is a very deep examination of the Vietnam War, the processes that led up to it, and all of the conflict that took place both there and here at home in the United States. In addition to the film screening, we have planned 2 programs at the library, and we hope that some of you can join us there. We're inviting in a veteran of the Vietnam War. His name is Carl William Burns. He was a helicopter pilot with the 25th Infantry Division, 3rd Squadron, 4th Cavalry. He's coming on Wednesday, November 8th at 7 p.m. He earned a Purple Heart, 16 air medals, and the rank of captain while he was serving in the war. He's going to share his experiences with us and talk about those early days. That should be a very interesting evening. He's also written a book called Centaurs in Vietnam, Untold Stories of the First Year. In addition, we're going to have on December 6th at 7 p.m. a speaker, Sean Illingworth, who is the director of the Rutgers Oral History Archives. He's going to come and talk with us about the work that they've been doing there to develop an online repository of Vietnam War veterans' recollections and also the recollections of many veterans throughout the United States. They've conducted over 900 interviews and made those interviews available online. So he'll talk to us about the process of collecting that information and talking with all these veterans. Should be a very interesting evening. I just want to say all of the programs at the library are free and open to the public from any community in the surrounding area, so please plan to come out. We thank the township for putting these events on the township's calendar as well. Thank you. You can register either by going to that listing at the township calendar or at the library's calendar listing. And of course, we have many other programs. We hope people will check them out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. My name is Mark Rossman. I'm the president of Franklin PBA. Ken Daly, delegate. I just want to thank you, and
Address.
I live in North Brunswick.
Oh, you could give the address of the
Okay.
police station.
495 Demont Lane.
There you go.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Manager and Mr. Mayor and the entire council for giving us the opportunity to speak. We're excited about something the union, the PBA, and the SOA have decided to do. We've seen that the township and the DPW have cleaned up the courtyard and made it a nice place for the employees of the town to go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather that we're having. And we've decided to purchase 3 umbrellas and 3 umbrella stands to place in the tables to give some shade and some cover for everybody for the township to enjoy. We wanted to let you guys know, that's what we've decided to do, and we appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's a little something that we can give back to the community. Again, thank you for letting us have that opportunity to speak to you, and we appreciate, our relationship to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Mayor, seeing no one else come forward, I motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, seeing no discussion on the motion. All in favor of closing public session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are now on to item number 7, committee and council comments. And who should I pick first to go? Maybe I should pick everyone else to talk about Franklin Day. Councilwoman Sherman.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So what shall I talk about? Oh, okay, I'll talk about the festival. It was spectacular. What other word can I possibly use to describe it? It's the 4th year. You work each year a little differently as you learn something more, and this year it all came together in an amazing way. Doesn't mean that we're finished. It doesn't mean that there won't be other things down the road. But I think particularly by moving the car show and the band close to one another, and the food trucks, and having another tent for people to sit down and eat in, it filled in that area and brought out a lot of activity. So that lent to some of the atmosphere. And then we had our usual amazing exhibitors, over 100 of those, including the people who really make this all happen. There are 2 groups. There obviously are the team within the township that make this happen. And believe me, this is a labor of love, because if it wasn't, it would kill you. It's a huge, huge amount of work, and it takes months to get this going. It builds slowly, and as the crescendo increases, it becomes very heavy. But you do it because you know it's going to be marvelous, and this time it was beyond marvelous. As the mayor said when he walked over to me, he said, "Wow." That's the word for it. It was a wow. It was just amazing. The music was great. The food was great. The team that worked on it here in the township gave very much of themselves, as well as the sponsors, because they're the ones who pay for all of this, and they're the ones that make this all happen for us. So the Princeton Photo Club came to us this year and put together an art walk, which was wonderful. It was photography done by our own township people with a township theme. It also included artwork from the schools, our students. Our cultural program was, again, extremely well received. And what can I tell you? The weather agreed. We had to go to a second parking lot because there were so many cars. And really and truly, that was only a little part of it. People were parked all over the lot, all over the park, every open space that you could possibly pull your car into. And thank goodness the Parks Commission went along with it and didn't get angry at us for that, because otherwise we would have had to turn away a lot of people. So the number I'm hearing, I'm going to say between 15 and 20,000. I did ask for a car counter for the entrance of Lot D, and that will give us some percentage of attendees. But then we had a secondary lot, and then all the people who parked throughout the park itself. We'll have to count that in the number. But you could tell, you could feel it. It was. The number of people was palpable. That was such a difference from where we had been before. It was a quantum leap from last year. I don't know that we doubled it, but we certainly came darn close to it. It was incredible. We are known. We are respected for this event. We are really a draw for a lot of people when they come, and the feedback has been just phenomenal. Everyone enjoyed it. Everybody was very complimentary, including Alex Karazi, who was a wonderful help during some confusion with some markings for some of our vendors. He helped me through that process. But the volunteers were wonderful. Everything came together, and it came together in a spectacular way. And I express my thanks to everyone who made it happen. The township, again, offered the support of the police were there, the DPW was there. It was such a community event. Everyone participated. So I thank everyone, and we're going to continue to make it better. Every year it's going to get tougher as you make it as wonderful as it was this year. But we'll keep our ears open and our eyes open and see what else we can find for next year. So we haven't gotten a date yet, but we will very shortly, and I'll let you know as soon as I know, so you can mark your calendar. Oh, so, thank you. The only other things I wanted to talk about was something you know, we have unoccasionally stepped out of dealing with issues that are particularly only Franklin Township focused. Fracking was one of those issues where we made it very clear that we were against such an issue, and we didn't want to see that happen in our surrounding communities and in our own community. We have another one we're looking at right now, and that has to do with the Dreamers and the fact that there is some unfortunate movement to rescind the promises that have been made to them, and we certainly don't want to see that happen. They're such an amazing part of our community and of our state. We are currently looking at some kind of resolution, and hopefully we'll be able to present it in the near future. And last but not least, I would like to wish my fellow Jewish members of the community a happy and a healthy New Year. Yom Kippur will be celebrated this week. It is the holiest holiday for the Jewish community, and I know I speak for the council when I say a happy and a healthy New Year for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sherman, and I would just like to point out that before Franklin Day, Councilwoman Sherman's hair was jet black.
I actually like it better this way.
As do I. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
So, Ross, I know it's been 4 years, but I was trying to think back. This was your brainchild, right? You came up with this concept for Franklin. Right. I call it Franklin Fun Festival Day, but it's called Franklin Festival Day. I always add the fun. I always add that in there
it was
because it's
actually
so
one
much
of the
fun.
first names we considered.
Oh, was it?
A family fun day.
Okay.
But we decided Franklin Day was to make it identify with our community and what we stand for. So that's where we wound up coming down as far as the name. But yeah, when I was heading up the Cultural Arts Council, that's when the idea came to me, and then it just has grown amazingly.
Yeah, because you have been a huge champion of cultural arts here in Franklin Township because you started that committee. So we want to thank you for having such vision. I know that I went and picked up my niece from Irvington and brought her down because there's so many activities for the youth, so she had a good time. But you could just feel the festivities in the air. You could feel the energy in the air. You could feel the camaraderie in the air. It was so much fellowship, so much community, so much pride. Everybody was having such a good time. The music was great. It was nonstop. The food was delicious. It was very nice to go around to all the exhibits. Some of them I didn't even go to. I couldn't get to all of them. So there was a lot going on. The only complaint I heard was there wasn't enough parking. But there was enough parking. You just had to find your way.
Exactly. We couldn't handle it all, but thank
there
goodness
were so
the
many
lots,
people.
the grounds were big enough.
And I ended up parking. I got there about 1:30, and I ended up parking in the second area parking lot, which I didn't even know that was back there. And somebody said to me, "Aren't you a councilwoman here? Don't you know about what's going on in your town?" I said, "I've never been back here, but it's a big park."
Yeah.
So thank you so much for instilling so much pride in Franklin, because to me, that's what that whole festival embodies, the pride that everybody here has in Franklin Township and the unity and the diversity that we celebrate here in Franklin Township. So thank you for your vision. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your hard work. And we all look forward to next year's Franklin Day, Franklin Fun Festival Day. And there's one other thing I want to say, Mayor. We have our Youth Center Team Talk Forum that's going to happen next Tuesday, October 3rd, from 6:30 to 8:30 over at First Baptist Church of Lincoln Gardens. We've invited we're going to have 100 to 150 youth there. We want their voice to be heard. We want to hear from them. We want to develop a youth center of the youth, for the youth, by the youth. And we've advertised this for a while now, and we're looking forward to soliciting all the input from the youth about what they want to see in their youth center. I've told the adults to stay away and let the kids have their day. So we're looking forward to our Youth Center Teen Talk Forum next Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30 over at First Baptist Church. And come one, come all. If anybody's out there that have young people that want to have their children participate in the forum, they are welcome to come and be a part of that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Francois. Councilman Jim Vasanella.
Thank you, Mayor. So, not to exhaust the Franklin Day, next year, if we can get the old police car and old fire truck there,
Yeah, there was some
that would be
discussion. Where is
really
that?
cool and give people some real insight into the history of Franklin. And, you know, you start to realize how old our town is and how
Ah,
much
that-
we've evolved.
I like
So
that
anyway,
idea.
my understanding is they both can be provided if they reach out to, I know this year, you have to do these a long time in advance. But anyway, I just want to let you know. And of course, I guess it arrived on Sunday, it was late, the dunk tank for the mayor that we'll have there for next year.
Oh.
Right? That was already approved, right? Anyway, if it's good enough for Deputy Mayor Light, a week of the people. Anyway, while they're still here, I wanted to thank the PBA. Sometimes when you least expect it or would least think of it, they pop up and show up and do little things like that. When I say little, I mean, may seem little in cost or something, but it's the thought and the effort and the fact that they come through when others necessarily don't think of it or don't. I know there was some piece of equipment years ago for a teenager, some computer equipment, and I was just sort of thinking when you mentioned that, all the things that you do when you see little things supported by PBA when nonprofits are having events, et cetera. So, you know, separate from the police work, you see them in uniforms, they're people, they're part of the community, and they care about the town. What else was I going to say? Oh, there was a meeting, Emergency Management Committee. On a serious note, we meet a few times a year to make sure Franklin is ready to go if and when there is emergency, especially a catastrophic one. And I'm confident things are rolling along really well. I'm not going to go into every issue. The two main topics, at least that I was mainly interested or concerned with, the tweaking out the final little aspects of our plan if and when we ever need to evacuate amounts of people like we had to a handful in Sandy, and making sure that we have our reception center temporary shelter up to par, and we're working on tweaking out the last few aspects of that, including where and how to shelter our cots, et cetera, to make sure everything is ready to go. God forbid we ever had to. And after what we've seen recently with weather and other situations, obviously we want to be totally up to date with that. And the other issue is staying on top of, we have a handful of industries, manufacturing, and other sites that have to have hazardous materials of some sort, and confident we're working closely with them to make sure everything is in place to where it needs to be. So if and there was ever any situation, we're ready to respond. Last thing I'm just going to say is I know people have to kind of adjust and transition because it's not summer, school's in session, there's more cars on the road, but when you see those flashing lights at schools that say 25 miles an hour, please, please slow down. Just my own personal experience and others that talk to me, seems like people are just not paying close enough attention. That, and just in general, I know we're in a rush, getting kids to school and everything else, but try to slow down a little. We have a lot of cars, a lot of people traveling our roadways, so I just ask you to be really conscious of that, especially as it relates to schools. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Vasanella. Councilman Theodore Chase.
Well, first of all, I want to add my voice to all of the praise of Franklin Day. It was a wonderful occasion. I don't know whether you knew that people were parking as far out as the lot for the Howe athletic fields, practically out to Elizabeth Avenue, and walking from there into the festivities. And I parked along the road through the park. People were parking there and still had a fair walk in. And I particularly appreciated the Princeton Photography Club's show. The president of that is a Franklin resident in the First Ward, so we have a lot of, it's not just a Princeton club. And I wish I'd sampled more of the food, actually. than I did, but one can eat only so much. The Public Works Committee met this afternoon. Various items to report. The repaving along Highland Avenue, unfortunately, is going to be delayed again until next spring because of the public service electric and gas work along Highland Avenue and the Lafayette and I forget the other street that are associated in that project. We'll have to wait until then. Other paving is on schedule. Generally, for a given year's paving program, because we can't let the contracts until after the budget is approved in the spring, generally we do about half of them in the summer and fall and the other half the following spring. On the website, it will tell you which ones are being done now and which ones next spring. There are several conferences with contractors in the next week, so a number of these projects are being started about now. My favorite topic, the Little Rocky Hill water main. They finally got the permit verbally that we were informed a couple of days ago. The paperwork will come within the next week. There was one additional hiccup in getting that permit, but it got straightened out. So that work, the final design work, will be done between now and Christmas, and then go out for bids, and the work should start in the spring. Campus Drive is among the streets being repaved. It's going to be, it's a 4-lane road, but it really doesn't need to be a 4-lane road. It's going to be repaved as 2 lanes with wide bicycle lanes, following the concept of complete streets, which is to make our streets good for bicyclists and pedestrians as well as for motor vehicles. And the sidewalk work that Deputy Mayor Wright has been pushing for so long is almost ready to start. There's a problem again with the utility poles with PSE&G, but initially there were 20 poles in the way. We got it down to 5 poles that will have to be moved that PSE&G will pay for. The others we will just detour the sidewalk around the pole where that can be done. Finally, we were informed by the Director of Public Works that we're close to capacity for water service in the Elizabeth Avenue Campus Drive area. So we're beginning to look at increased water storage in that area, building a new water tank up there. We're just beginning to look at it now, but particularly with our ideas about economic development in that area, we're going to need to do that. So I thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Chanel Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I know Joseph has already left, but congratulations on his Eagle Scout honor in all that he's doing for his community, or our community. Also, Ms. Smith, thank you for the update and congratulations on your honor from the American Library Association. I look forward to attending some of those screenings. My father was a Vietnam veteran, or is a Vietnam veteran. He's still alive. And as a veteran, that's something near and dear to my heart. So thank you for coming to share that with us this evening. Only other report that I have, Mr. Mayor, is Housing Authority. We have not gotten a budget from the federal government. We have not in years, but I'm happy to report that we're able to pay our bills and that we're still receiving monies. Also to the PBA, thank you for your generous offer and donation for the umbrellas and the umbrella stands. Oftentimes, I've come to the building, and since that courtyard has been built, on one occasion, I did see Anne Marie out there enjoying her lunch, and it was blazing hot out there, no shade whatsoever. I welcome the sun. I like the vitamin D. However, that is a welcomed donation and gift to the township. And last but certainly not least, I've been to several festivals throughout the county, and I must say, even though I'm a little biased because I'm a resident of Franklin Township, Roz, you and your team did a dynamic job, and I must say it's one of the best that I've attended. And I look forward to many, many more. I did have the opportunity of going up in one of the fire department's ladders. Went up 80 feet out of the 100 feet. We would have gone a little bit higher, except for bees were swarming.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know if it was maybe a bee nest or a beehive forming in that bucket, or they wanted to go for the ride as well. But it was a great view. I did do a Facebook Live. I'll try and save the video and be able to share it with
Yes,
you.
I wanna
But
see
it was
that.
just an awesome, awesome scene from that
That
level.
was wonderful.
And it was
Thank you for announcing
and it was
at the event.
beautiful, not a problem. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. So again, kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the Franklin Day Festival, phenomenal event, and kudos to everybody, Councilwoman Sherman and Bob and the staff. They all worked very hard and made it a huge success. And this goes along with our fireworks, and we're known for both. So great events, and we're putting Franklin on the map for it. Ms. Smith, thank you for the award and coming to us and letting all the residents know about the library events. I hope we'll see you more often, and we'll be able to promote the library. Our PBA, again, thank you. You have again stepped up. I remember the time we were trying to put our money together to get the fireworks going, and the PBA stepped up and donated their time and effort, and so did the fire people. And so, thank you for being part of the community and sharing in some of that and donating. So it's been a long tradition, and we appreciate that. Thank you. So the umbrellas are a welcome addition. Some activities other than that happened during this month were the Buddhist temple had its groundbreaking, and we had Dr. Chase, Jim Vasanella, our mayor was tied up, but we had our two state senators here, Kip Bateman. Yeah, and Councilwoman Sherman, of course. And then we had Kip Bateman and Bob Smith there, as well as two assemblymen, Zwicker and Danielson, and of course our four council people were there as well. So thank you. That was a great event, and there's going to be a meditation hall there open to the public. So that was a great event, and attended by a lot of our community. So that went well. And the compressor task force has been holding meetings and trying to educate the residents on that. And there was one held in South Brunswick at their community center that our task force was part of, and we're planning some here. So the fight is still going on the compressor, and it's nothing that we can let up on, and it's an ongoing marathon fight, and so that goes on. And my congratulations to Councilman Chase. We've all worked hard on this Little Rocky Hill water main situation, and his tenacity to just stay after it, not give up on it was phenomenal. And I also wanted to thank Councilwoman Robinson on all the announcements she did at the Franklin Day Festival. So she pitched in as well. So thank you for that. And to my Jewish friends, happy Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And my Muslim friends celebrated Muharram. And so my greetings to you on that as well. So with that, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad.
Mayor, I apologize if I may.
Absolutely, go ahead.
I did forget one other matter, if I can take the liberty or at this time. Still collecting for Harvard Relief through the 30th of this month. We have 2 drop-off locations. That's Community Fire Company, Station 25 at 710 Hamilton Street, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And also New Trends Barbershop at 563 Somerset Street, Tuesday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. And be on the lookout. I'm working with another organization to take in relief funds and or donations for Puerto Rico. Just keep in mind when these travesties happen, a lot of times, especially with some place like Puerto Rico, we have to think about storage and delivery, and they don't have a whole lot of storage. So just be on the lookout in the upcoming weeks or at the next council meeting. I have more details on that. But it's heartbreaking, but let us not forget that we are one country. Let us not forget that we are one community when things like this happen, and it should not take travesties for us to come together as one. But thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. For my comments, I too would like to wish Happy New Year to all my Jewish friends, including Councilwoman Sherman. I'd like to thank the PBA and SOA, members of the finest police force in New Jersey, for their donation of the umbrellas and the stands. I heard there was some event this past Saturday. I went there, and no, really, I think the only word that describes it is wow. It was just amazing. It looked to me like it was twice as many people as last year, and last year was no slouch. Another festival won't have as many people, but it's near and dear to my heart. Kind of a different vibe to it is Canal Fest, and that is October 14th. Rain Day is the following day, and it is a lot, as I always advertise, a lot of good food that's bad for you. The summit, the mayor's summit, because the United States pulled out of the Paris Accords, the climate change accords. I had planned a mayor's summit in early October. We had made a lot of calls, and a lot of people were saying that they weren't going to make it because they were busy campaigning, and they wished that it was another time. We got so many of those comments that we were scheduling it either to rescheduling it, so it's postponed to either late January or early February. And the Blaustein School has now heard of it, and they're going to be involved. And I think it's going to be on their campus, on the Rutgers campus. Well, my ego said no. I wanted it here in Franklin. It just made much more sense. It'll be near the train station, and we think we're going to be able to get a lot of people. Having the school involved is going to be a great plus. So look for that to be re-advertised in later this year for late January and or early February. And if anyone has trouble getting a refund, there was a small fee if they'd already paid. I think that's organized to get it back, but please let me know if I need to help. And last but not least, yes, I know I need a haircut. I'm debating whether I should keep it this way until Canal Fest so they can shave it, or it's really beginning to annoy me. But anyway, the next item is the Township Manager's Report.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Mayor. Can you give the time of Canal Fest? You gave the date
Oh,
and rain date.
yes, thank you. It is from 11 to 5. 11 to 5. I will be there at 8 setting up. Okay, very good. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few announcements. One, obviously, I had the pleasure of being in the township tent for Franklin Day Festival with a large number of our staff members, and I know it's not really work for us that day. Some people have to work a little bit harder than others. I certainly give credit to the people who worked. Those being the police department and the public works department and the recreation department. My special projects manager, Safi Callan, Alice Sipowicz, those people worked. I, on the other hand, got the pleasure of speaking with residents, and which is sometimes my job, I guess. But it's a much more enjoyable atmosphere at a festival than it is in my office every day. So we had a lot of fun, and it is a lot of work, and I appreciate all of the work that all of the volunteers, all of our staff members, but most importantly, Councilwoman Sherman. I get to see it, probably more so than the rest of you, all of the work. I get to sit in my office and watch her come and go, day in and day out, day after day after day, for meetings and planning and all of the work that's involved. So it's an incredible task, and it is something that we should all be very, very proud of. I asked Councilwoman Sherman who won the Art Walk contest because there was voting from the public on which artist, you got to vote for an artist. And so since I asked her the question and she didn't get to say it, actually the person who I voted for won. So it was Carl Geisler, who actually is the president of the Princeton Photography Club. Has some beautiful pieces of photography that were on display, and Mr. Geisler won. He's a township resident, and that's pretty cool. So the person I voted for won.
I voted for him too.
There you go.
Obviously, a lot of people voted for it.
Obviously, a lot of people did. And I got to tell you, the ballot box was full of ballots. So it wasn't by a small number that people voted. It was by a very large number. So that was a really nice addition to the festival. Now back to work a little bit. County Route 632 is comprised of Bunker Hill Road, Canal Road, and the Griggstown Causeway. Beginning on this Friday and then continuing Monday through Friday for 2 to 3 weeks, depending on weather, Somerset County will be repaving Bunker Hill Road, Canal Road, and the Griggstown Causeway. So for those of you in the Griggstown section of town, it will be some inconvenience. However, we're being given assurances that all residents during the course of paving will have access to their homes. So, but everyone should be aware of that and plan accordingly.
Canal Road.
And then another announcement. I had the pleasure recently of making the acquaintance of Stephen Nagel, who is the new executive director of the Somerset Community Action Program. Very enthusiastic man, and it's nice to see that we now have that at SCAP. And he reached out to us, and we're actually our first project together, and I give him most of the credit for the work here, is I'm going to read it here, a financial literacy education program that will be hosted here. It's a joint effort by Somerset Community Action Program and the Township. There will be 3 free financial literacy classes that take place here in our council chambers, the first on October 11th, called Debt Reduction and Asset Building, and then Building a Good Credit Rating on November 8th, and Consumer Protection on December 13th, offered free to those who need it. Often the first way out of the despair that comes with financial hardship is to learn how to get yourself out. And here's an opportunity for all those in the township to come and participate in this training for free. It will be presented by professionals in the finance world. And to sign up for one or all of the workshops, you're just simply asked to call SCAP at 732-846-8888. This will be on the township website, it'll be on our calendar, and it's also on the SCAP website. So I encourage all the people who feel they want to get out from under in their finances to come learn how. And this is a wonderful opportunity to work with SCAP in a cooperative effort. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. Vasanella, you had another announcement.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Yeah, I forgot to mention. We have an event coming up, October 4th. It's National Have a Cup of Coffee with Police Day, I believe. And I
it is, that's right. Yeah, no, so that's also on.
So anyway, I just realized it's larger than I thought in Franklin, so I'm going to ask that we could put, I mean, the sites in Franklin, I just quickly will mention, Moe's Southwest on Cedar Grove Lane. You got Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, on Hamilton Street, Confectionery Yours. God, I forgot where that was now. Kettleman's Bagel on Elizabeth Avenue, and Hamilton Barbecue. I thought it was just the two sites. Maybe, I don't know if the newspaper article mentioned
It's through the day. It begins in the morning and it progresses different times of the day at different sites.
I was going to say, I don't want it confusing.
So we cover, I guess the effort here on the part of the police.
Mr. Vornlocker.
No, I just was going to say, maybe we'll put it on the township website under the current events.
I believe it's already there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyway, I just want to announce to the public, it may sound silly, but it really is a good time to sit down and get to know people for what they are, people, and it only help to make the bond which already exists in this community even stronger. So I know our officers are eager to participate, and they're going to be there, so please check it out October 4th. Thank you. I'm not sure who's paying for the coffee, but I'm kidding. Go and enjoy.
We'll work that out.
I think Mark said he's got the tab.
So we have council discussion item, back to Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know that there's a whole lot to discuss about this. We just simply have to list it. But the state annually puts out a best practices worksheet to be completed by municipalities. Certain state aid is tied to being able to answer yes to a certain percentage of questions. I can tell you that we are receiving 100% of our state aid this year.
And that's what matters. Great. So we are in compliance. Thank you.
We are.
Okay, moving on. Approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes for approval by the Township Council work session, regular meeting, September 12th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion or corrections? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Thank you. We're now on to item number 11, approval of the warrants. Warrants are how we pay our bills. Warrants in the amount of $8,722,785.12 on September 26, 2017 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do I have a motion on the warrants?
Motion for payment?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or items on the warrants? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
We are now on to item number 12, public hearing and adoption on a second reading. These are items that will be up for final passage, and a public session on each item is appropriate. There are two items. The first is ordinance 4210-17, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Development, regarding requirements for garden sheds. The public hearing has been noticed as required and is in order for public hearing and adoption. Do I have a motion to open for
So
public
moved.
hearing?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion on the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. The meeting is now open for public discussion on this item only. Please state your name and address. 2 minutes limit.
Mayor, see when known, come forward on motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public session is closed on this. Do I have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll just open the discussion saying that this is just a slight adjustment to our land use ordinance, making the ordinance requirements for garden sheds more logical. Any other discussion?
Basically, the shed can be larger and still be close to the property lines. It can be 200 square feet rather than 100 square feet and still be counted as a garden shed. It can be in your back corner of your property or whatever.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion and a second. Discussion is completed. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Ordinance 4211-17, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112 Development, Section 112-6 Zoning Map in Article 35 Renaissance 2000 Redevelopment Plan. The public hearing has been noticed as required and is in order for public hearing and adoption. Do I have a motion to open for public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion, or seeing no discussion on the motion to open to public hearing? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are open to the public for discussion on this item only.
Mayor, seeing no one coming forward from the public, a motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Seeing no discussion, all in favor of closing public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Do I have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? This is just changing the zoning in the redevelopment area to allow for some development. Seeing no other discussion? Oh,
No.
sorry?
No.
Okay. Do we, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Moving on to item number 13, first readings of ordinances. We have none. Moving on to item number 14, consent agenda resolutions, the shortest consent agenda I have ever seen in 13 years of attending these meetings. The items A through G, as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Does anyone want to discuss an item or pull an item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
We have an item to be voted on separately. Resolution 17-386, authorize issuance of a special event permit, Loyal Order of the Moose, 988, Classic Car Show and Flea Market, September 30th, at 2017, at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 1300 Hamilton Street, Somerset, is presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do I have a motion?
Motion for approval.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the special events permit?
Does anybody consider traffic for this? Do they?
Yeah,
are
everything, a special event permit goes through all the departments. It already went to police.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Thank you. We are now moving on to old business, boards, commissions, committees, and vacancies. Does anyone have a nomination? So.
I won't have a nomination at this time, but I expect that our next meeting, I will bring forward a nomination of Jenny Ann Kirschner to the Environmental Commission. We always like to have prospective members attend one meeting before really nominating them, and unfortunately, she missed the last meeting because she had to attend a board meeting at the Stony Brook Millstone Watershed Association, where she is Director of Development. But I think that's a good body to have a member from.
Anyone else? So I have a nomination for the Trails Advisory Committee regular member for unexpired four-year term ending December 31st, 2019. Charles Martin, if anyone attended the open space meeting, he gave a very interesting presentation on cataloging insects on our open space, and many people said to me he needs to be on the Trails Committee, so he submitted his paperwork to the clerk, and I am placing his name in nomination.
I'll second that, having known him for many years.
Okay. Any other nominations for that position? Hearing none, we can do this by acclamation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And then, Madam Clerk, as one of the mayor's few powers is appointing people to the library board. One of the positions is the mayor's position, which I have held myself for this portion of this year, but I am now going to appoint Tom Lennon to that position. I don't have his address with me. I'll get you that. And hopefully he will be attending tomorrow. And we are now on to executive session, of which we have none. And finally, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, seeing no discussion, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Be well, Franklin.